Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Ambitious Casual. My name is Rob, and you already know why we're here, okay? You clicked the video, you saw the thumbnail, you understand why we are here, and you are joining me as we go over everything that happens at the PlayStation Showcase that just happened today, September 9th. There was a lot of hype surrounding this. There's a reason why PlayStation was not showing up at E3, was not showing up at other conferences, was literally staying quiet for majority of the year. And it kind of felt like it was all leading up to this. Did it all pay off? Let's get right into it, okay? Look, I'm not gonna go over everything from the beginning to end. Let's jump right into the good stuff, okay? There's a moment in the showcase where Herman Hulst comes in and he kind of sets like this moment within the showcase like a divide. And it's almost like from this point on, this is the PlayStation stuff, which is kind of weird that they left all that at the end. But either or, Herman Hulst comes out, and then we start with what is a teaser for Insomniac's new Marvel game, Wolverine. And then on top of that, we also get another Insomniac tease for Spider-Man 2, which is announced for 2023. I don't understand how Insomniac does it. How do they have so many people? I was going around Twitter today as I was finishing up and getting everything gathered together. Someone supposedly said they have 10,000 employees. How in the world is it that, like, how many people do they have working there? They just came out with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Before that, not even a month before that, they came out with Marvel's Miles Morales, and then 2 years before that, they came out with Spider-Man, the Marvel game that came out in 2018. How are they on this roll with game after game after game after game? It's unbelievable. They're practically PlayStation's top dogs right now. If anything, they're the ones that literally are at the top of the list. Look, I know we're gonna get some Sony fanboys out there. They're gonna be like, well, now that's gonna be Naughty Dog. I get that. Naughty Dog makes some great games, they do some great things, but in regards to how many games these guys are making within so much time, it is unbelievable. So, with that being said, like I said, we got to see a tease for Wolverine. It is being head up by the same people who did Miles Morales. Brian Horton, creative director, and Cameron Christian, game director, are working on Marvel's Wolverine, which is a standalone game. And here's what I would say. Again, it was just a teaser. There was no gameplay, CGI. It was the coolest thing. You kind of knew the moment you were going in. You were like, that looks like Wolverine, guys. And it sure was. I will say this. Miles Morales, compared to the original Spider-Man 2018, was a much smaller experience. The fact that they announced Marvel Spider-Man 2, which is being head up by the original team, obviously that made Spider-Man 2018, and is being directed by the same fellow as well who did the original one, Brian Intihar. The thing is, that game was much bigger. Miles Morales much smaller. And then on top of that, the way they kind of talk about Wolverine is like a very emotional kind of story. There's something about the wording for it that makes it feel like it's going to be a bit more condensed, in my opinion. We don't know, but to me, I'm not quite sure if I can picture a game with Wolverine in an open world. To me, when I think Wolverine, and again, not a big fan of the X-Men series. I loved Logan. I thought Logan was awesome. I think that movie kind of set everything in place in regards to what viewers and just the normal people will see Wolverine as in the future, like from then on. I think we might see in regards to like an emotional story involving Wolverine. I can see it being more linear. I can see it being more focused and a lot more cinematic and a more set pieces than Spider-Man, because that's more open world. You're swinging around all of New York. So with that being said, I'm really excited. I'm really stoked. And one of the things that they put on here is that their goal here is to not only respect the DNA of what makes the character so popular, but also look for opportunities to make it feel fresh and truly reflect the Insomniac spirit. Even though Marvel's Wolverine is very early in development, from what I've seen, its emotional narrative and cutting edge gameplay, see what I did there, the team is already creating something truly special. I'm very excited to see what else that is. No release date. Spider-Man 2 got a release date year window for 2023. So if anything, we might see maybe like honestly, the fact that we didn't even see Wolverine's face, I think next year in 2022, we might see the same thing, kind of like another small teaser, but finally showing his face, kind of talking more about who's the actor for the role. We might not see the game for till 2024, maybe 2025, but we'll see. I mean, the way that Insomniac has been kind of working is it's been games coming out like every 2 years, with the exception of that being Ratchet and Clank. So we'll have to wait and see. Spider-Man 2, they, like I said, they showed it off. Look, it was just another CGI trailer, but the big kicker here is that we got a small glimpse at Venom, which there's been so many rumors and so many people talking. Look, Venom has to be coming into Marvel Spider-Man, right? Like that's the natural way to go. Like we got Spider-Man 1, which is fantastic, had to do with the Sinister Six. We had Miles Morales and his story being much more condensed with a condenser, like not Sinister Six big, but we got a smaller group of enemies. This one with both Spider-Man and Miles Morales working together, and then the introduction of Venom, which interestingly enough is being voiced by Tony Todd of Candyman, and the voice was so like my knowledge and everything regarding Candyman just has to do with the new movie that just came out a couple of weeks ago, because that's the first thing I've ever seen. But already, based on the voice that's in that movie being translated to Venom, already working fantastic. It works perfectly well, and it has that good amount of graveliness that sounds more natural than, like, I don't know, Tom Hardy's Venom, which is honestly kind of ridiculous. With, I'm pretty sure, some editing going on with that. Not saying there's no editing with Venom, but I think Tony Todd already, in the way that he speaks and does horror films, can lend his voice so much better to Venom here in a more organic way, if that makes sense. Again, that has a 2023 release window, so we will most definitely see more of that game next year, maybe in the fall. Moving on from that, those are two Marvel Insomniac games. Again, Insomniac, I don't know how they're doing it, dude. They're crushing it. We got to see a little bit of Polyphony's Gran Turismo 7 that has a release date of March 4th, 2022. That right there, I gotta tell you guys, is I'm really excited for Gran Turismo. Obviously, it's always been Forza and Gran Turismo back to back. I think Forza has kind of taken the lead by just obviously doing this kind of yearly release. Gran Turismo has been a while. They've been stepping back. Has been a little slow on the releases. Gran Turismo was supposed to come out this year, but got pushed and whatnot. So either or, being able to finally see the game in action, we got to see some gameplay. I got to tell you, the game is looking amazing. It's looking really, really good. I cannot wait to play this game next year. And already, just by these, everything I'm going to be going over on this, guys, the next year, 2022, is going to be stacked, guys. I don't know how we're going to be able to play all these games. On top of that, I'm kind of going before Herman Hulst talked, which is kind of weird that they did this beforehand, but it's whatever. Before Herman Hulst gave his talk, we got to see what is an Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy Remastered, being titled Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, coming to PS5 and PC. So it's being remastered, coming out in early 2022. Again, not an exact release date. And as the dates approach, that was what they say on the PlayStation blog. As these dates approach, we'll discuss more details. So that's fun. I played Uncharted 4. I have not played Lost Legacy, so I will jump into that to see how that game is, just to fill in that last gap in regards to the Uncharted franchise, and then end it. Boom, done, no more. So there's that. Moving on, after Herman Hulst talked again, I just want to make sure that, you know, we're in the good side. We're in the good PlayStation side. We got to see some God of War Ragnarok. All right, guys. Now look, God of War Ragnarok is the official title to Sony Santa Monica's new entry in the God of War series. Everyone's been kind of wondering, is this like a fake title that we've kind of as a collective made up on our own, or is this the actual title to the game? Being able to see it, we are seeing a much older Atreus. And on top of that, it's seeing that it's kind of taking place a few years after the events of God of War 2018. Don't know how that works. If we all remember, the end of God of War ends, spoilers, if you haven't played God of War, sorry, here we go, 3, 2, 1. Thor comes out and he's going to want to fight Kratos and, obviously get some revenge as to everything that you've been doing during the game of God of War 2018. So this takes place years later. Again, don't know exactly how everything is going to work out within this. But I will say that everything that we saw in regards to this game at this showcase looks really, really cool. I'm going to read a couple little bits and pieces here. This kind of sets things up a bit. It says, the freezing winds of Fimbulwinter have come to Midgard, making survival for Kratos, Atreus, and Mimir in the Norse wilds even more challenging than before. While the last game built an enormous amount of trust and understanding between father and son, there is still a great deal of complexity in their interactions, especially after the revelation of Atreus' giant heritage and the hidden prophecy only Kratos saw. Atreus is desperately curious, like most young people. He wants to understand who he is more than anything. In this case, he wants to understand who he could be. The mystery of Loki's role in the upcoming conflict is something that Atreus cannot let go of. He wants to keep his family safe, but Atreus also doesn't want to stand by and do nothing while conflict consumes the 9 realms. Now, they're both going to be working together, Kratos and Atreus, on this one, obviously. The voice of Atreus obviously sounded much older. If it is the same actor, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, which makes sense because of the fact that he is already older. I know that when you go into the documentary of God of War 2018, even Cory Barlog, director of that game, spoke about the fact that as they're developing the game, the actor for Atreus was literally growing up as they were filming scenes, and they had to hurry up because of the fact that his voice was maturing as the game was coming along. So, if anything, this is the same actor, obviously much older, much more mature voice, but I'm very interested to see where this game goes. I will say, I was watching it off of a stream. I need to go back and watch all these things on my TV and see it at high fidelity. But based off of everything that I was seeing through a stream with some artifacting and that kind of stuff, the game looks great. One thing that I want to point out is the hair looks even better than it did in the 2018 game. And second, the skin detail is unbelievable. There's moments that we see the back of Kratos' neck, and I'm like, those wrinkles in the back of his head, the texture of his bald head, it just looks amazing. You can see that's where a lot of the fidelity and all the work is going into and pushing the graphics. But on top of that, something that you're going to see, and it's a through line amongst a lot of these games, is just the way that the PlayStation is able to generate such these huge worlds, and you're able to see these grand landscapes up before you. So it's really, really cool. I cannot wait to get my hands on God of War Ragnarok. The only thing is the fact that we have no release date for it. So we might see some more of it next year. I don't think there was any plans of it even coming out this year, guys. Come on, let's be for real. Horizon Forbidden West got delayed to next year. So will we see this next year? I will bet my money we see it next year in the fall. That is everything in regards to what was the last, not even half, guys, the last quarter of the showcase. Everything before that, I'm just going to go by real quick. We got to see that Lucasfilm's Aspire is going to remake the Knights of the Old Republic, and supposedly it is a timed PlayStation exclusive. We got to see Shift Up second Eve Studio, Project Eve. It was a tease with some gameplay. Project Eve looks super dope, to be quite honest. Some people were looking at it as it was going on, thinking it was kind of like a sequel or whatever. It looks like Nier. It has that platinum kind of fighting style to it. It looks dope. I like it, but we'll see. Very anime, very Japanese. Everything about it, though, speaks to me. I might check this game out. Again, no release dates. And especially with Knights of the Old Republic, no release date either. 2K's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We got a gameplay coming out March 25th, 2022. Square Enix and Luminous Forspoken. We got to see a little bit of a story tease and gameplay coming out spring 2022. Guys, spring 2022. 2022 is getting crazy. We got to see some more of Ubisoft Rainbow Six Extraction, January 2022. We got to see Epic Games Remedy Entertainment's Alan Wake Remaster. There was a trailer. The remaster is coming out October 5th, 2021. We got to see again Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out March 2022 for next-gen consoles. what's interesting about this is that it was originally planned for November 11th this year. It got delayed. They didn't say delayed. It just was kind of announced through the trailer that it's coming out next year. Nothing else. So that was news to everybody. We got to see a little bit of Ghostwire Tokyo. No date. And I'll be honest with you, looking at this, I was not interested. I don't even know what the game is. It looks very, when you see a trailer, it's kind of supposed to sell you. Everything that I saw regarding this, I just was not sold. It doesn't look fun. It looks really weird, and not weird in like an interesting way, just weird in a weird way. We got to see more of Guardians of the Galaxy from Idols Montreal, story trailer with gameplay coming out this year, October 26th. We got to see Blood Hunt, a PS5 gameplay trailer coming out this year, 2021. Guys, we're in September. The year is almost done. We don't have an exact date. We only have a year window. Doesn't make any sense. And then we got to see some more Deathloop by Bethesda, which is coming out obviously this month. And then we're getting to see Kid Amnesia by Radiohead and Epic Games. Really weird, like this weird psychedelic kind of horror experience. We don't know. It's coming out. Who knows? No release date. And then we got to see this game called Tashia by this company this developer called Awachib. It was like this open world kind of game where you can take over the souls of these animals and you become the animal, and then you kind of figure out puzzles within the world around you. I'm not gonna lie, didn't look good whatsoever, and that is honestly the last of everything that they showed off in this showcase, guys. Look, going over everything, I kind of want to have a moment and just step back and just kind of my thoughts in this whole PlayStation showcase. I don't want to say I was disappointed. Like, how can you be disappointed that we got an announcement for Insomniac's Marvel Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, Venom is being announced for the Spider-Man 2 game. That's awesome. We got to see some gameplay for Gran Turismo 7 with the release date for March 4th, 2022. That's awesome. We got to see God of War Ragnarok, some gameplay, some story, and then, get to at least see it. That's awesome. But for some reason, it sounds like it's almost as if I feel I sound ungrateful. I'm not. I mean, again, who am I? I'm just someone making a video on YouTube so you guys can watch. Who am I? I will have to say, when you're PlayStation and you don't come out on E3, you don't have any showcase during that big time for video games, you are kind of excluding yourself from everything. You're reserving yourself from everything. You're trying to make a point that we don't need anything but us. And then you have a showcase, and we're seeing games that we've already heard and seen before. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Forspoken, Grand Theft Auto 5, Ghostwire Tokyo, Guardians of the Galaxy, Blood Hunt, Deathloop. Like, why are you showing these? I'm not gonna lie, the moment that we saw, and you know what, I kind of want to walk back a little bit. I want to walk back Forspoken. That does not deserve to be on that list because it is Square Enix and PlayStation are very tight knit. They're very tight knit. So let me walk back that one. Everything else though, when we've already seen these games, it really brings down the quality of your entire showcase. Why do they need these? They don't need these. So honestly, what that tells me is that this was just a bunch of fluff. PlayStation really didn't have much to show. And to be quite honest, they just needed to fill a showcase up and make it look pretty cool. This is not an S tier showcase. Last year's showcase where they showed off the PlayStation 5, that is S tier. That is a showcase where it's like banger after banger after banger, something new. Nothing we've seen before. And then the huge announcement at the end with the PlayStation 5. Now, again, they can't do that again. We have the PlayStation 5. But what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have anything, just don't do anything. Or at least just focus on what you already have that are just to yourselves. Like, you could have literally cut everything from the top. You could have left Project Eve. You could have left the Knights of the Old Republic. You could have left Forspoken. And then everything else that it was in the back quarter, which was the everything PlayStation Studios, you could have just kept those few games. And you would have had a nice, refined showcase that could have lasted, maybe 10, 15 minutes? And then I think everyone would have walked away being like, oh, dang, that's cool. That's awesome. We don't need anything else. PlayStation doesn't have to show too much because they're showing us, hey, 15-minute stream, 30-minute stream. That's all we need. Just show that off and then call it a day. And then we as the viewers kind of had the understanding, okay, cool. They gave us a little bit of something to hold us over until the next thing. And I think everyone would have understood that. But unfortunately, they had to fill it up with all this other stuff. It's not garbage, but it's the fact that when you make such a huge deal, trying to make the point that we don't need anybody else, we are PlayStation. PlayStation makes key games. We make the games that everyone is trying to make. Everyone's trying to be us. When you say that, well, you don't say that. When you portray that, when you act like that, why are you filling the rest of your show up with a bunch of fluff? You don't need it. You don't need it. So overall, again, I was not disappointed with the showcase. I actually had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. The last quarter of the showcase was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Again, a lot of teasers for some big things that are not going to be coming out for another 2 to 3 years from now. But hey, at least we got to see God of War, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the PlayStation Showcase. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Would you rank it? Would you do S, A, B, C, D, E, or F? Would you actually put an F on this showcase? Anyone? Anyone out there? Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and stay tuned here on the Ambitious Casual YouTube channel, where we have the podcast, XP Podcast, coming out bi-weekly. You can jump on and hang out with us as we discuss all things video games and things going on within the industry. Till next time, peace out.